In example 1D, we are asked to multiply and simplify the given expression, okay? All right, so basically when you look at this, okay, your first instinct should be to work with the numerator because it is more complicated than the denominator, okay? So here what we can do is FOIL out the tangent theta plus 1 times tangent theta plus 1, okay? So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so if I FOIL, I am going to first have to multiply the first terms together, okay? So tangent theta times tangent theta is going to be tangent squared of theta, okay? And then I need to multiply the outer terms together. So tangent theta times 1 is going to give us plus tangent theta. And then I need to multiply the inner terms. So 1 times tangent of theta is going to be plus tangent theta. And then lastly, I need to multiply the last term. So 1 times 1 is going to give us plus 1. Okay, so we have FOILed out or multiplied out the tangent theta plus 1 times the tangent theta plus 1. Okay, now we also can't forget about the minus secant squared theta in the numerator. Okay, so we need to attach that on to here. Okay, all right, the bottom we haven't touched. We're going to leave it as tangent of theta. Okay, now remember, okay, from algebra class, you can't just say, oh, I've got a tangent theta in the top and I've got one in the bottom and I can just cancel these guys. That is a big no-no, okay? So don't do that at this point, okay? The numerator is definitely more complicated. You always, when you do this type of stuff, you want to work with the complicated stuff and try to, get that simplified, okay? All right, now here is something interesting, okay? You really have to remember your identities, okay? You've got to keep them in your back pocket and be able to use them at a moment's notice, okay? When I am working with this numerator, okay, I'm going to start combining like terms, okay? So yeah, I see this tangent of theta and I see another tangent of theta, so I can go ahead and combine those guys into 2 tangent theta, okay? That is not tangent theta squared. You're not multiplying them, you're adding them, okay? So I have 1 tangent plus another tangent, that is 2 tangent theta, okay? Now here's the kicker with the identity, okay? The identity, which you have here, this term, tangent squared theta plus 1, that is secant squared theta, okay? Tangent squared theta plus 1, what I have underlined in purple, those guys combine to be secant squared theta, okay? I'm going to go ahead and put that in purple right here, okay? And then I'll go ahead and put this in yellow because that's how I had it highlighted, okay? So hopefully color coding it, you can see where all these pieces are going, okay? Can't forget about Mr. Negative secant squared theta, okay? He's still up there in the numerator. We haven't done anything with it, okay? So that's going to go blue, okay? That is how the numerator has kind of transformed, okay? I still have tangent of theta in the bottom, okay? Moving on to the next step. What happens? Well, now I see in the top secant squared theta minus secant squared theta, okay? Those guys are going to cancel. Boom, boom, gone, okay? I am now left with 2 tangent theta in the top. That's it. The bottom has tangent theta, okay? And then you see I've got a tangent theta in the top, 1 in the bottom. They cancel. This entire expression has simplified to be 2, okay? That's it, okay? So when you're doing this kind of stuff, okay, a couple of takeaways from this particular example, okay? You always want to start with the most complicated part first and work with it, okay? And you've got to be really cognizant with identities, okay? You've got to be able to identify them. Like this was key to doing this problem. When I multiplied out the top, it left me with a tangent squared theta plus 1. Yes, those terms were not side by side, but since you're adding, you can add in any order. So you've got to be able to collect those 2 pieces and call them secant squared theta, okay? And then that ended up canceling with the negative secant squared theta, okay? So pay attention to little details like that. It's really important. Okay, let's try the next one.